Number 32 is one of the whole passage questions that I would want to make sure I save for the end of this passage, right? So I've actually done all the other questions already. I haven't read every single word of this passage, but I've read a good portion of it just by doing the line references for those other questions. So now I'm coming to this with a pretty good sense of what's important. Again, it's possible I missed some things, but main ideas are repeated ideas. So it's unlikely that I would have missed every repetition of a main idea. The other thing too is that a lot of these summary choices can sound kind of the same, and so our job is to pay attention to things like strong words that might make them a little off, right? So a choice might be 90% correct, but our job in process of elimination is to find the 10% of the choice that's incorrect, and that's enough to make it completely wrong. So train your brain to notice things that are a little too out there, a little too strong for the passage. There's going to be a bunch of them. Let's look at A. Smith's main purpose in the passage is to accuse fellow abolitionists of overlooking the contributions that women have made to the movement. Accuse is a really strong word. Is she mad in this passage? I think so. But she's mad about slavery, and she wants women to take a role in getting rid of it. Accusing fellow abolitionists, I don't think that she's really kind of against other abolitionists. She's against slavery in general. And again, this might be true a little bit, but I think her point is that women have a role in abolition. And it's not that it's been overlooked, it's just that they need to step up, and it's an important issue for women in particular, and so she's advocating that women get more involved. So there's two strong words here, accuse being the strongest one, and that would make me nervous. Now look, if I go through all these other choices and everything else is wrong for other reasons, then maybe I have to settle for A and pick this strong word. But right now, it's making me nervous. Choice B, argue that the causes of abolition and women's rights are continuations of the spirit of the American Revolution. Well, this is what I call a bumper sticker choice, right? It feels good, right? Of course, abolition, women's rights, these are American things, and we love to give people more freedom. Yay! But that's not what this is about. This is not about looking at the American Revolution and talking about women's rights and slavery in that context. It's very much of the moment when she's talking. She's talking about women participating in abolition at this time. It's not some historical look back at the revolution. No. C, make the case that women's rights are meaningless, that's a strong word, while slavery exists. I don't think she's saying that. In fact, this is more about abolition than it is about women's rights. She's mostly talking about women getting involved, but she's not saying that women cannot have rights as long as slavery exists. Maybe she says that kind of in little places, but that's definitely not a main idea. And that word meaningless, again, just like the word accuse, makes me very, very nervous. Meaningless is a very strong word. It means that women's rights have no meaning at all, whatsoever, without any exception, as long as slavery exists. I just don't see her supporting that. She's arguing that women should take a role. I mean, she's obviously in favor of some rights for women here, so this is too strong. This is not in line with the passage. Maybe you believe it, but it's not in line with the passage. D, encourage women to see their participation in the abolitionist cause as just and important. Yeah, that's definitely it. Notice how much weaker that is, right? It's not saying that encourage women to see their participation in the abolitionist cause as necessary, right? Necessary would be a strong word that would make me nervous. But just saying that it's good, and important, that's enough to say, yeah, women should get involved in abolition. We have a role to play, or they have a role to play. And so, yeah, it doesn't offend. That's what strong words are about. We don't want words that kind of go overboard and go too far. And this choice does a good job of holding back and just getting to the bare minimum point that she makes. That is our answer here. And I don't think I really even needed to read the passage to know that. I mean, it helps. It's certainly something I would do. I would read the passage as I did all the other questions, but I don't need the full passage. And my SAT skills of finding strong words probably would have pointed me to choice D, even if I'd never read any lines of the passage, just because I know how much they do this. and what it means for right answers versus wrong answers. So the strong words thing, it might not be enough to get you the answer every time, but it can nudge you in the right direction when you're a little confused. So just train your brain to notice those kinds of things. It will absolutely save you points.